Previously, in X-Men, the entire world believes the team to be dead, but they have been given a second chance and a new purpose by the goddess Roma. After evicting a gang of cyborg bandits, known as the Reavers, from an abandoned settlement in the Australian outback, the X-Men look to set up a new base of operations down under. I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanigan.
And we are Group of 7 Comics. Welcome to episode 166 of our ongoing live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic as we read Uncanny X-Men 230 by writer Chris Claremont, penciler Marc Silvestri, and guest inker Joe Rubinstein. Cover date of June 1988, even though it is a Christmas story. There you go. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks very much, Jason. Yeah, doing okay. You know, if you go back to that, your opening slide there, your
sure.
recap. You know, I've got a small child joining the YouTube stream.
What's good, guys?
All right, get out of here. Yeah, that second paragraph, you know, says it all about where we are with X-Men.
Right.
Gangs of cyborg bandits, Australian outback. What's going on? Yeah, excited to be here to talk about it.
Yeah, that's exactly why I put it in there. Because it is bonkers. You know, we were talking last week about that issue really being a first issue of like the new X-Men. You know what I mean? You know, all the pieces were there for it to be a new title. You know, maybe the series the ongoing story kind of ends around issue 200 with like that trial of Magneto and Xavier going off to space / the afterlife of some kind. And then this is sort of the start of this new thing. And they took 20 issues or 30 issues to transform into the new thing. Mm-hmm. If that was issue 1 and this is issue 2, the book might not go further than this. In that, like a really good reboot or a really good start of a series, issue 2 has to follow up issue 1 with something significant. So I'm curious to see, after we've read this issue, if it's going to feel like it has the juice to be a new title and carry on and attract new readers.
Juice is loose.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let's say hello to the chat. Happy Tuesday, all you awesome nerds, says Allie. Allie, how are you? Nice to see you. Mass, hey everyone. Hope you're doing good. Jason Jose says, hey, X-Gents. Hi, a small child, Allie says. What was your favorite Metallica song?
Barry, you have a question in the chat for you. It just says, what was your favorite Metallica song? This is a friend, Allie, who's, I believe, going to see Metallica in Philadelphia. What was your favorite Metallica song at the concert we went to? You can go on camera if you want. It's okay. Okay.
I don't know, maybe
Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy, Fuel.
Fuel, Seek and Destroy. Yeah.
Probably one of their hits.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Master of Puppets is pretty good too.
Master of Puppets is fun.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Get out of here.
Harry. We have to change the credits of the show and include more Sanigans.
We just every show there's just more Sanigans show up.
Amazing. I'm in for that show too.
Yeah. Enjoy that show in Philly, Allie.
David Cutler says, hey, Exy boys. This is a lot of people's favorite X-Men era, and I will never understand those people. Now, of course, we're all entitled. Opinions are awesome. I don't imagine that this is any of those people's favorite issue. You know, again, maybe the series is going to get started and turn into something. But this is, as we will see, this might not be an issue with a lot that stays in people's minds, other than that fantastic splash page, which we're about to see. Allie's responding to Harry. She says, I love those. Nice choices. Thank you, and looking forward to it in response to enjoying the show in Philly. It'll be Memorial Day weekend, so that's cool.
Okay.
Now, I do not know when Memorial Day weekend is. I'm imagining it lines up with maybe May 2-4-ish. When is Memorial Day?
I mean,
okay. Us Canadians, we don't do Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see, and maybe you'll tell us, and we'll figure out in the chat. We do have a May long weekend, which we affectionately call May 2 for obvious reasons, and it is usually around the 24th of May, which is Queen Victoria's birthday. So it's more formally known here as Victoria.
In Ontario, it's provincial.
Oh, is it really?
Provincially different, yeah.
I had no idea. I know that the one August long weekend, the first weekend, that one I knew to be a provincial variable. Here, technically, it's called Simcoe Day in Ontario, but I did not know that May 2-4 was called different things because I thought we all fell under the Queen. So, but
maybe learn something. Yeah,
there you go. Oh, yeah, as American as you can be, like, go for it. It's all good. Yeah, May. There you go.
There you go.
It's the same. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good weekend. It's holiday the last Monday in May. Very good.
Okay.
Very, very, very good. David says, we call it May 2-4, and it's Victoria Day weekend in Newfoundland.
There you go. I tell you where it's not Victoria Day. Quebec.
Oh.
Victoria's I believe Manitoba might be Lou Riel Day in Manitoba.
I'm always interested in stuff like this, but we can save this for a different episode. Maybe the weekend right after, where we get into it a little more. But that is interesting to me for sure. Let's see. Oh, hey, if you're new to the channel, please click like on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're almost at 400 subscribers. That would be lovely. We bumped up another couple in the last few days, which is really nice. We're on the verge of, like I said, 400. So we'd love to get a couple more subscribers in there. Eventually get to 500 very soon. Would be fantastic. Cool. If you also want more of this content, you can share this with other people. It bumps us in the algorithm, gets us to new viewers. And if you have other suggestions for things you'd like to see on the channel, I think we'd be able to contribute. Feel free to let us know. Throw a comment in the chat, whether it's the live stream or the chat with the videos. It's always appreciated. David says it is the Quebec Nordique weekend. It's the 24th. That would be beautiful. It was true. Ali says, I call it May 2-4 at the Metallica concert. See if you can get it to catch on. That sounds like a good idea.
I like it.
There you go. Also, we got a plug. You want to plug this?
Sure. Yeah. So we are raising funds, crowdfunding, for a brand new collection of Peregrine's Adventures, Flight, Fiends, and Fisticuffs, featuring 3 currently sold out titles and one that's soon to be sold out. And we know that a number of you actually in the chat and fans and friends of the show have supported this so far. We're doing this throughout the month of May. So thank you so much. We are less than a week in, and we were already past a quarter of our goal. So that's really something. And we're so excited to get this collection to you all. If you go to our crowdfunder, I don't know if the link is in the chat below, Jay. I'm not sure if you're going to add it. Go to our socials, Group of 7 Comics. All the links are there. And you can grab yourself a copy of the new book. It'll be likely available printed in June. You can grab some of our existing products. There's some original Jason Lapidus Peregrine sketches in there. A second one went today, by the way. A second one went today, Jason. As well as a whole bunch of comics and some digital comics. It's all in there. Yes, we do love alliteration. We love it so much. All to say, hey, if you ever want to support us financially in any way, or even if you just wanted to spread the word about what we do, you like what we do, feel free to spend either share the link around. You can also contribute without having a reward. There are multiple kind of reward categories and tiers. Again, financially, if it's not in the cards, that is not a problem. But hey, if you feel like it, we appreciate it. And we appreciate you sharing all the same. So that is going to run for the month of May. And we're already above, if you're thinking about it in quarters, 25% each week, we are already above our first week goal, which is awesome. And thanks to many of you directly who tune in weekly to X-Men. So thanks so much.
Also, just keep in mind, the book is getting printed regardless. This isn't like a Kickstarter where if you fail to meet the goal, the project doesn't happen. The project is done. So we're printing it regardless. We just would love to have enough copies pre-sold that the print mark pays for itself. But
it helps, and it helps us plan, right? That's the whole thing.
Exactly. We know that we're going to sell them in the long run anyway.
We do.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you. Yeah. Good job, Chris.
Hey, no problem.
Up next, event, May 23rd through 25th, we're going to be in Montreal at the Montreal Comic Arts Festival. Oh, beautiful. Can't wait. And then after that, like a couple weeks later, back in Toronto for Toronto Comic Arts Festival.
Back to back, 2 amazing Canadian comic shows, 2 of the best shows we've ever been at around the world. And we can say that because we have traveled the world with the book. Amazing. All to say, back to back, they're going to be amazing shows. And I realize as I look at and connecting to what we're going to talk about tonight, I don't know if you're connecting it back with the ToyCon. I don't know if you're going to mention that, but who was at ToyCon? So this past weekend, we're at a ToyCon show in the Toronto area, run by friend of the show, Kevin Toying Around. Go check out his YouTube show as well. He does a whole bunch of amazing toy-related videos. He's always on the cusp of the stuff coming out, figs, all that kind of stuff. He ran his second ToyCon, which brought a bunch of vendors together, including us. We got rid of some of our old figures. We're fans too. Plus, we sold some comics. But the special guests at ToyCon were Cal Dodd, voice of Wolverine in the original X-Men animated series and X-Men 97, and George Buza. Am I saying that right?
Buza,
voice of Beast in the original X-Men Fox series plus X-Men 97. So a lot of X fans came out to Toying Around on Saturday to catch the voices of Beast and Wolverine from their favorite show, which is always super cool to see. So I just wanted to tie that into the X conversation we're having today.
Yeah, we decided that we weren't going to ask them to be guests in the show because we're both feeling in fear for our jobs. You know what I mean? Like if we bring them in, how are we going to ever recover?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's serious stuff, so we don't want to ever do that. So it was.
Plus, you've done more voice acting. You've done more Wolverine than Cal Dodd, right?
Hey. So. I'm glad someone else is making that joke because it's terrible when I do it.
No, it's
I like to pretend that I'm more legitimate because I've logged more. You know, there are more hours of me doing Wolverine than there are Cal Dodd hours, which is preposterous. Obviously, it's just pure jokes.
But it was really funny because once in a while,
Electric Claws.
Once in a while, because we were at a table and these guys, George and Cal, were probably about, I don't know, 3 tables down, right? And once in a while, a fan would go and get there, and all you hear is they blast the animated series theme song. Which, to be honest, I mean, I'm never gonna get sick of hearing that, and it was pretty fun. Great. We would just be talking, and suddenly, you look over, and there'd be a fan in between the two of them, and anyway, all good times. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Ali says, bring them in and miscast them. I'm game with that. That's a great idea.
Stay away from Banshee. Stay away from Nightcrawler. Stay away from Jason Wingard. Those are my faves.
I'm gonna just do that for a minute. We'll see. What was I gonna say? Shoot, you got me off guard. Jean Grey,
you know the voice of Banshee.
The voice actress. Oh, he passed away.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's my dad's friend. He's my dad's golfing buddy. Yeah, he knows him through golf and whatnot. He's an actor, character actor, and like adds an aesthetic to. He passed away last year. Off the top of my head, his name is escaping me. But anyway, I was going to say that the actress who plays Jean Grey is also always she's local, and she was at 2-day event I think in Barrie this weekend. So I know that Kevin Toying Around did reach out to her, and she was already committed to something else. But maybe in the future we can get all 3, and we'll see who else.
Same with Jubilee. I know we haven't done. I know we don't. We're not in that era yet. But the Jubilee voice actress is at a lot of. She's also a little because it was voice cast. It was obviously performed in the Toronto area. So
yeah,
she shows up at a lot of those events. Because she was anyway. I see her on a few. So
the Good Witch.
A few,
she's on the Good Witch.
Yeah, and anyway, yeah.
And David's asking or mentioning about Beast not being in the series, or at least not regularly in the series, so he would have to play someone else anyway. The last time Beast was in the series was Dark Phoenix Saga.
Wow.
He goes to the moon with them.
He goes to the moon.
Yeah, as everyone does, right?
This book is the best.
All right. When it is. So let's see. Let's get into this.
All right.
And let's see if it is truly the best. So here's this cover that made me never want to read this issue. Here is Longshot in all purple for reasons versus Treasure Ghosts.
Treasure Ghosts, yep. On a pile of Smog's money.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. Let's give this a go and get into it. I'm going to say now, by the way, I did not read this issue as a kid.
Okay.
I flipped through it and I found myself echoing that exact same behavior when I was opening up this book today. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not reading this. I just opened it and flipped through a few pages, like kind of got the gist. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to, like, my challenge for this episode is to find something redeeming about this issue, to find something interesting, because I want to be interested in the thing that we're doing, firstly, but I want there to be something interesting for people who are watching. So I am going to do my darndest to find something interesting in this episode.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
So can I say
something? It ain't the cover.
What's that?
It ain't the cover.
Ain't the cover. It's also like it's interesting effect to have the translucence of the ghost go through the X-Men title card up there. But it's also really like jarring and like busy, and you almost don't see the word X-Men because Longshot's knives are in there too. And anyway, it's just an observation.
My bigger problem with
is he throwing popsicles? It looks like popsicles.
Right. My bigger trouble with this is just like the way that he appears, like the color choices. It looks like he should be double lit. He's got like obviously a hard light on one side, so maybe you could do that. In the ambiance from the room on the other side, I don't know, but just these color choices don't work for me. Then there's the whole issue with Longshot as a character. I feel like Anna Senti and Arthur Adams created something unique in the limited series. Claremont brings him into this series, and he's totally the opposite of interesting. We've had him now in the series for 15 issues. He's done basically nothing. And the idea of having a charming, good-looking, kind of acrobatic, roguish type character, that totally works. And so I've always felt that he is an earlier iteration from Claremont's, storytelling style. He's an earlier iteration of Gambit. It's like Gambit Mark 0, where he's got some elements, some hair, some leather. He's got a babe on his arm a lot of the time, and they're going to kind of go with this idea, but the character lacks all the charisma that Gambit will later bring into the book and mystery. So I'm finding that I can't wait for Longshot to be off the page because he doesn't add to it for me as a reader.
That's an interesting thesis then. Like, does Gambit only land eventually because Longshot doesn't? Like, is Longshot the test in that case, and then they rework it for Gambit?
I don't know if it was ever a conscious reworking.
Right. But it's an interesting comparison.
But there is a role. There is a role for an acrobatic character. We've talked about this before too. Yeah. Like, Nightcrawler is this acrobatic, roguish character at times. Then he sombers up and takes that serious role in the series for a while. And this guy, Longshot's got the childlike thing, which it just doesn't last. It gets tired pretty quickly. So Gambit kind of does the things that Longshot does. I mean, visually, even the throwing cards, like his playing cards being thrown, that's even a Gambit drawing, in a way that we've got the character throwing these multiple sharp objects.
Right.
So you get the same kind of action beat from him. You add, of course, his quarterstaff and the jacket for some flow, and both have ridiculous dated hair. No offense. And yeah, it's just kind of neat that it doesn't exactly work. Kind of in a similar vein, like Dave Cockrum and Claremont don't have a groove with Wolverine, but the next line comes in, they do Wolverine differently. It just happens to be that it's one character. But you know what? You could even argue that some of the attributes of Thunderbird get brought into Wolverine, like the role that he plays, and that eventually those sort of some of those hot-headed things, those warrior elements that they go on with Thunderbird early on, get translated into Wolverine as he goes, and him being kind of honor bound and those kinds of things that Wolverine brings in. So I find it always interesting how characters morph over time, and some don't last and become legends or iconic with the team. You know, in every iteration of X-Men, it's not a guarantee Longshot's going to be there. You know what I mean? So
Well, sure.
It didn't work in the sense of him becoming an iconic X-Men, where you can't conceive of X-Men without him. He is not in that spot, but for a lot of people, Gambit is.
Yes, I would suggest, yeah.
Oh, David. Also, a Longshot is a Gambit.
Love it. Love it.
All right, let's get into this.
Okay, let's get into this.
This is the highlight for me. I love this drawing, and this brings forth a whole conversation, not just about how you can be the next Joe, which we should talk about at some point.
By the way, you could be the next Joe.
You can, and I did not order this one, even though I was still kind of buying some Joes once in a while in '88.
Is this like a special Joe that's only through this?
Yes.
Like, speaking of toys here, is that a special Joe? Okay.
Yeah, Steel Brigade. This is a big thing, and you get a personalized file card. What I didn't like about it, what didn't appeal to me, was I liked characters with faces. I didn't want troop builders for the Joes. Right. And all these parts were reuse of earlier figures. So it didn't feel like there was anything unique going on for me as a kid. And I just let it go. And I don't mind that. And they still use Steel Brigade as troop builders in the G.I. Joes, in the modern line in Classified.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. So this beautiful splash, this is the first appearance of this costume.
I was going to ask that question. It seems to be.
Like, now we're talking about, things that are iconically X-Men. This costume, this hairdo, this look for her is the template for decades of iterations of Storm. This is the first time we have Storm where she is fully clothed. Right. She's been sleeveless in both previous costumes. She's shown midriff. She's, been sexualized in both versions. This one is much more superhero subdued. But back to the sweeping cape, that weird Dave Cockrum, interesting cape. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because this is the costume that fans and creators iterate and sometimes can't figure out how to interpret. Is it black? Is it gray? Is it silver? Is it white? And in this one, I don't think it's up for much debate what it's supposed to be, but you can see how it's open to interpretation in other versions. Obviously in the cartoon, they give her hard black shadow and completely white highlight, and it reads as kind of white. So in the action figure, they just make it white. Although they did do a black version of it too.
Right.
Anyway.
Have they made this version into a figure?
Yeah. They made one pre-X-Men 97. There was like a retro card, and it was a peg warmer in all the stores I went to.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of which, GameStop in the States is disappearing.
I heard that. Is it renaming itself back to EB Games in Canada?
I don't know about the States, but Canada, it was bought today or announced today that they're renaming them EB Games, and they have a new ownership group that's completely Canadian. So we're keeping our EBs.
Okay, interesting.
So at least you can get stuff and figure it all out. Allie says that Storm costume was my first Storm action figure. Oh my goodness. And one of your first action figures, period. That's awesome. From that old Toy Biz line. That's adorable. Stanley presents 'Twas the Night, starring the Uncanny X-Men. She is Storm. I'm so happy she's talking to the goddess. You know what I mean? This is like such a joke, a tropey joke of Storm, but wonderful to be able to say, "Bright, blessed goddess, I can once more fly." And this is her realm. And again, Glynis Oliver just kills it with those natural colors. Like, she owns skies and seas and the woods. She just really makes the best use of this palette to convey mood and everything. I love her work in this. Joe Rubinstein is the guest inker. I mentioned before about Silvestri and Claremont are usual. We still get Glynis Oliver and Tom Warzakowski as part of the team, and Ascenti editor, and Tom DeFalco editor-in-chief.
Yep.
Where'd you get the costume?
Crickets. Where did she get the costume?
Crickets. Yeah.
I think probably it was with the Reavers.
Oh, she found the.
She found it.
Well, there you go. Look at that panel down where maybe we're gonna learn. Let's read all this stuff. The
so
boundless heights. Yes, the boundless heights of the sky, more her realm than the ground far below. The night wind gently caresses her body as she bends it to her will. Her mutant power allowing her to perceive the elements of nature as patterns of force and energy that are hers to command. I love the cloud cover coming down with her as she moves. It's very nice. Ah, Madeline, I had almost forgotten how glorious this felt. It's good to hear you laugh, Aurora. I hope we all get the chance to do it more often. Neat to see Madeline Pryor in some kind of girl in the chair role. This is interesting.
Yeah. Well, we have, I mean, she's been kicking around for a while and not quite sure what she's going to bring to the team, but if you're going to put in some kind of like ops, logistics, tech, something behind the scenes. Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you scanning me? Got you cold. Sensors are giving me a pretty comprehensive analysis of your abilities. I've never seen such sophisticated hardware, not even back at the X-Men's old headquarters. The Reavers may have been unregenerate slime balls, but some of them were technological geniuses. With these systems, I bet I can tap into any computer communications network on Earth. And it's so user-friendly that even a novice like me can learn how to handle it in comparatively no time. I love the panel where where it's this exaggerated view down and you get these arms kind of, wires protruding from the ceiling. It's a really great use of scale and kind of an extreme angle to give you the sense of how much stuff is actually in that room and the weird tech that you're never going to be able to draw the same twice.
Yeah.
You ever wonder why they picked this godforsaken wilderness for their hideout, Storm? With their loot, they could have settled anywhere on Earth. What made this dump of a ghost town so enticing? A hard land, Madeline, where only the toughest and wiliest of creatures have even the hope of survival. And as our new home constantly puts us to the test, so now shall we do the same to the defenses that protect it. Rogue!
Receiving you loud and clear, boss. And I'm already on my way. Stay low below the radar. Hug the terrain. Use it for cover. And move so fast, I'll be on top of the team before they know it. That's the way to win. Can't wait to see Wolvie's face. There's that Aborigine fella, Gateway, sitting atop his rock. Never says a word, just sits and watches the world go by. Don't he have family or anywhere else to go? Enough lollygagging, girl. Keep your mind on business. Huh? Surprise, sugar. Havoc? Nice try, Rogue, but Madeline had you tagged the whole way in. Darn. He hit me with the lowest intensity plasma burst. Not enough to hurt, but it stings like the devil.
Poor dear.
Oh, no.
Do you truly believe that you can escape a telepath?
Psylocke's using her psi powers to disorient Rogue, so she doesn't know which is the right way to go. Rogue's putting up a heck of a fight, though. One-on-one, she might have a chance. But this time, she's outnumbered and outgunned. Zap!
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Here we see some of Silvestri's good stuff on display. Like, I love the way he creates that motion line for Rogue as she just goes right past Gateway. Another artist might have also had some of the dust move, you know, so like there's a as she goes by him, but the fluidity of that line is just beautiful, the motion there. And then you can also see a lot of Rubinstein in the way he renders women's faces. He just does certain things that look just like him. So the Rogue's face as Betsy's butterfly effect sort of settles on her cranium there. Like, that looks like a Joe Rubinstein face to me. If you just showed that to me, I could tell you who the inker was. It reminds me of some of the pages that we would see in the Wolverine Limited series with Yukio, the way her face is. But anyway, it's neat to see Silvestri with different inkers. You know, we've seen him now, I think, with 3 inkers so far, and sometimes they really stand out. Like, their work comes forward. Other times his work comes forward. And it's one of the neat relationships between penciler and inker in this version of comic book making. I'm always tickled by how things look different depending on who's inking. Black Spider says, Dazzler looks amazing. David says, every time they toss someone into the Siege Perilous without trial, out pops a new costume. Yeah, that's fair. And enough bus fare for the ride home.
Yow! Dazzler, her solid light photon blast, knocking me into Colossus's arms. Forgive me, Rogue. I hope this does not hurt too much. Big guy's got leverage, can't wrench loose. When Petey gets so strong. Jeez.
Game's over, darling.
Wolverine, no!
You lose. And if I pop my center claw, you did. Any comments?
Nothing printable.
That's great, of course, a little wink at the reader. And I couldn't tell you how many times Wolverine has not popped the center claw, like done this situation where there's a claw left to go. I think he does it in the Wolverine Limited series when he's in the bar. Maybe I'm just projecting. I should take a look at that, see if it was true. But this also might be the first time. I can't really remember. But he hasn't done it much in this series, at least. So it's kind of neat to see. And it's often been a joke. And then if you look at your hand, your own hand, your Chris Hannigan hand right before you, and you place 2 claws, the 2 side ones, on that hand of yours, the back of your hand.
Yes.
There is not enough room for Rogue's neck between those 2 things. So obviously there's a little bit of creative liberty here, or creative license that we just need to bionically extend from our forearms like Wolverine's claws, for the creators to just have a little bit of fun with this. Yeah, there you go.
It's fun.
Yeah, good times. Nothing printable. There you go. Nice work, Madeline. Finest kind. Praise indeed, Wolverine. Thank you. Fantastic. The systems all work perfectly, and so did I. Finally, I'm contributing to the team, pulling my own weight. Nice to discover, at long last, that I still have worth to the X-Men as much as myself, since my husband abandoned me and the newborn baby, which I still don't have, by the way.
Yeah.
Made me feel like garbage, and he really made himself look bad to all the readers for years. But yeah, she discovers her self-worth again, which is good. The Marauders may have stolen my baby, but by heaven, no matter how long it takes or what it costs, I mean to get him back, kind of. I mean, she's been pretty distracted. I give her that. And make the swine who stole him pay. A heartfelt promise. I pity Madeline Pryor doesn't remember that one should always be careful what one wishes for. But that's a story for another day.
There's a dingo ate my baby joke in there somewhere. You know,
Is there?
Babies, outbacks, dingoes. You know.
Fair enough. But don't change the page. This is also the first appearance of, if we want to even call it that, Colossus's new costume.
Right. He's got now like gauntlets on.
He's
still
got
the X. He's not just wearing tighties.
Right.
Right.
He has kind of a wrestler's belt.
Yeah,
Like
kind of.
It rides up a little bit, kind of like maybe the circus strongman. There's just that really wide belt that he now wears, and boots just plain red. So it feels like this is elements of his old costume, but of course it is unique to this moment, and a lot of people have made customs from the other pieces to try and get this for their Outback teams. Yeah, it was. I have to admit, when I was of the age of 13, this is the only Colossus that I would draw. Because I liked looking at all the armor. I thought it was cool to look at.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and when they made this Rogue figure, by the way, they didn't put her in high heels. They put her in flats. Because these thigh boots they're insane.
Right.
But she can do it. She's awesome.
She's awesome. Okay.
But this was the team I first started to draw.
Okay, interesting.
And my earliest X-Men drawings, it's this. Which is fun. I should go find those.
Yeah, you should. All right.
In the meanwhile,
how do we do, Storm? Real rad, huh?
Quite a competent performance, Allison, from you all.
One of these days, short stuff, it's gonna be your butt in the dirt.
Maybe so, sweetheart. But till then, you buy the beer. Wolverine, this was a test for the entire team. Where is Longshot? Hello? Is anyone here? Why do you keep calling out to me? What? Where are you hiding? I should have told the others. But the voices sounded so lonely and scared. I didn't want to frighten them more. Could the Reavers have kept other prisoners? We somehow missed when we searched the town? The answer's behind this door. Soaring Spitfires! Good page turn picture. And so,
yeah,
we kind of get that intro, that double page, top tier splash that we've seen in so many X-Men comics in the past. I always love this format with an X-Men.
Yeah.
It's the Reavers Treasure Cave.
Was it Cochran who would do it?
Yeah, he did it for a bunch in a row,
yeah.
and then Byrne started doing it too.
Yeah,
it's just a really nice, like, widescreen action beat.
Really.
Hear us, help
Help
us,
us,
save us.
It's so lost we are,
so lonely,
stolen we were.
From those who loved us,
We plead,
here we do not belong.
we beg, please take us home.
Those are our ghost voices.
That was an incredible performance. We should be up for an award for that.
We should.
And to think that we didn't rehearse that or anything, that was outstanding. Spirit voices, thinner than the faintest breeze. I'm Longshot. Don't be afraid. I mean no harm. I'd like to be your friend. Am I the only one who can hear? But why? What makes me so special? He's so selfish. You know what I mean?
Well,
talking about himself. Gosh. When I touch these things, sometimes I feel images from them. Psylocke calls it psychometry. Perhaps by reading the history of this room, I'll find an answer.
With his own hands, he made me.
You're going to give me nightmares, Chris.
Okay, I'll stop then.
Shaping me from raw metal into a thing of beauty, a gift for her whom he loved best in all the world. Yet I was torn cruelly from her, turning joy to heartbreak, tainting that love with desolation. Woe, oh, woe! I was all that remained, to remind her of the beauty that once was. Why am I not with her?
Stop it, please. No more. I'm not to blame. Why are you tormenting me? The voices. So desperate, so lonely. Aware only that they're prisoners, poor things. And my power, it's acting like a light in their darkness, drawing them to me. As their psychic cries brought me to them, they must see me as their last hope. But so many voices, so great a need. Please, you're hurting me. It's more than I can bear. Okay, quick thought.
Yep.
He might be a great character for the New Mutants.
Oh.
I don't know. There's like an edge of childlike innocence with him.
Mhm.
And I see, spoilers, once Doug Ramsey dies,
What?
he would maybe be like the best pals with Warlock.
Mhm.
Again, the two of them, Booster and Beetle, just like that, the kind of duo of dopes where they're both naive and learning about the world, and it might be really fun. I don't know how much room there is on X-Men for him, at least in this iteration. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm also going to throw out that thought that every time that Claremont brings in a new naive character, they do go to another dimension or something, or have a transformative limited series, and they come back edgy.
Right.
I use the word edgy in loose quotations because it's like within the
Kitty's
realm.
now a ninja.
Right. So she and Magic went to Limbo.
Mhm.
And I don't want to mention the others because they haven't happened yet sometimes, but he might really benefit from having another bout of, and he tried it with Phoenix. The series didn't take. Wanted to do it with Nightcrawler. The series didn't take. Like, it didn't happen. Actually, the Nightcrawler limited series did happen, but they didn't do that revamping of his kind of ongoing narrative. But maybe he needs another dose of Mojo verse to come back edgy, like work it out so he's not so naive. But anyway.
If by edgy, do you mean early 90s skateboard kid?
Yes, exactly. Well, that's in the Innocenti's book. Speaking of Innocenti, flip that page.
Okay.
We were talking last week about what was going on in Daredevil. And there you go.
I don't know why we were talking. I think because it was in one of the checklists. And I said, I think this might be the Typhoid Mary as numbering, like the 4 or 5 issues of Typhoid. And look, it is.
And you can see Romita has landed on his feet after leaving X-Men. He's spoken about how relieved he was to work on essentially one hero character instead of 7. It's a much easier task, and he's shifted his work from, even just in this promo piece, you can see he's gotten into a more graphic style where composition and interesting angles are more important to him than rendering in a house style. And for some people, this might be peak Romita Jr., that is. Other people, might be later on as he gets Punisher War Journal or Daredevil Man Without Fear, that kind of. It wasn't the name of the series, Man Without Fear?
Yeah, I think the miniseries, I think it was. Yeah, I think it's Man Without Fear.
Pretty sweet stuff. I know you collected this run to its completion.
I did, yeah.
And I'm in the process. Every time I come across one, I will add it to my collection. I'm probably about 70% of the way there. Okay. And I have never read it.
Right. Well, you're in for a treat when you do. I mean, obviously, but this particular arc is quite good. And look at that. I mean, look, just even that as like a full page ad. What a great selection of images of the heart and blood at the butt. That's great.
Yeah, that's smart.
Really good.
David says, I first encountered Typhoid Mary on a Fleer trading card and thought, what the heck did they do to Mary Jane? By the way, that's the voice of David inside his own head when he thinks that wherever that will be the voice. That heart blood thing is just perfect use of design and space and negative space and that kind of dual purpose,
Totally.
Very good.
Okay.
Another day.
I don't know which is worse, the clothes the Reavers wore or this pigsty they lived in. Huh? Ellison, you screamed. What is wrong? But Peter,
Thank heaven, under the bed. Something moved. Be careful. Do not worry. I have it. It is something, certainly, and perhaps even alive. But hardly much of a threat. Ah, gross. Now, what is
Chris,
that?
Chris, what
Yes.
is that?
What is that, Jason?
What is it?
What is it? Does it have a tail?
No. So he says a something certainly, and perhaps even alive.
So what could it be?
Well, it smells bad. We see the sting coming off of it.
Yeah, it's got stink lines.
It's gross.
No.
Let's see if they ever come back to this.
Okay.
But right now, I think it's a smoldering pile of
Reaver.
gold.
Yeah.
Like that color choice.
Right. Even though she says it's gross, though, but it's gold.
I think it's like chunky. It's like a gold poop.
Gold poop. Okay.
But it's
Also props to Colossus for just busting through the door. It doesn't matter. Like that.
Yeah.
Just he's taking that entire structure down.
yes.
It's great.
I also love that there's like this whole place, this ghost town that they're in, is just like the TARDIS and Doctor Who. Like there's no boundary to it.
Right.
You can just do it. You can find whatever you want there. It serves the purposes of the creators. Matt says it's not a tribble. Yeah. Let's see if they answer their own question or if they ever come back to this.
Right.
But if they don't come back to it, what's the gag?
I don't know.
Okay, let's see.
That's it. I hate this. Stuck in the middle of absolute nowhere in this utter and complete dump with no books to read, TV to watch, music to listen to, and worst of all, no place whatsoever to boogie on Saturday night. This is the end. Do you hear? I'm through. I'm done. I've had enough. If this is what it means to be a legend, I wish I'd stayed dead.
So this is also becoming a trope for Dazzler, where at least every issue she says,
I hate this.
Yeah, well, she needs to boogie.
she needs the boogie, but she hates her circumstances. She's always talks about how much she's not enjoying being on the team.
And then we also get the introduction of the greatest Marvel legends yet to be delivered. We get Havoc in some kind of outfit. You know, he's got the Outback Boy Scout.
Safari.
Yeah, like the Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Crocodile Dundee park ranger kind of thing.
Kind of. He was much more. Yeah. That's right. There was that old guy that went with him everywhere.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He was like an Australian Orville Redenbacher.
Oh.
In terms of his looks. Matt says Proto Croc Hunter. Yeah, the Croc Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Irwin.
Right. So he's found this outfit somewhere in this ghost town.
Right.
Awesome.
It's some. That is some prima donna display. The girl cops one incredible attitude.
Give her a break, boy. Songbird has a point. This place is a fucking dump. And the Reavers, pigs.
Can we get shirtless Wolverine with cowboy hat fig?
Well, we do have a shirtless Wolverine figure.
Do we?
There
Or is he
one.
wearing?
Yeah, there's one that came in a set with Callisto and a few other characters. I think it was Amazon exclusive.
Wow.
And you could just swap the head out with a cowboy hat.
Okay.
Yeah. We're working on it for you there, Chris.
Thanks.
Whichever, Wolverine, we have better things to do than spend the rest of our lives making our new home habitable.
Wolvie, what's Storm doing?
What's it look like? A little spring cleaning. First comes a gale force wind to sweep away everything not nailed down, including tribbles. Yet under such supernally precise control that the basic structure of the building is not damaged, followed almost immediately by a monsoon flood that scours rooms and hallways to the bare wood.
Hold on, Allison. Will I carry us both to safety?
It's a bit of a small colossus there.
A little bit, yeah.
Better to have let me drown, Petey. I feel so slimy. Probably smell worse. Once you wash your costume. Uh-huh. Me, I'll wash. These rags get burned.
Anything in this pile anybody wants? Anyone object to my doing the honors? Say goodbye then to all that trash.
I love how casually he just points
So
at it and disintegrates the whole thing.
I do love that, like the casual use of powers. That's great.
Yeah, and just that hat, the body language he's drawn. It's such a good kind of caricature of a person standing. There's really great gesture in there. Devin, thanks for the props on the on the swearing. As Havoc's plasma beam reduces the Reaver's leavings to their component atoms, an enigmatic figure watches impassively from his perch atop the rocky mound overlooking the town. He has a name, but none save him know it. So the X-Men use the one the Reavers gave him. Gateway.
Ain't never known heat as raw as this. Not even where I grew up, in Mississippi Bayou country. How can that old man stand it? Sitting out in the open day and night. Me, I wonder what he's looking at.
He wants us to know, Havoc. He'll tell us. This is his land. We're the Johnny-come-lately intruders. Up to us to prove we belong.
Wolvie loves the wilderness. It's as elemental as he is. Country where you work to nature's schedule and rules, not some arbitrary man-made timepiece. A hard land. And also, I expect, a real lonely one. Excuse me, I don't mean to be a bother, but in all the time since we arrived, I haven't seen you eat. I suppose it sounds silly, but I sort of got worried. Thought you might like some food. Fred ain't much of a cook. Hope you like it. My name's Rogue.
Later.
Much, much better. Wonder how long till we have running water. Isn't fair to depend on storms rain for our showers, but I confess it feels so nice. Longshot, you're awake. Madeline, Betsy's he okay? Why didn't anyone tell me?
It's just the idea that he's unhappy and all the women go and just rub his back and hold his hands and oh poor long shot. Oh. It only just happened, Daz. I feel a lot better, Allie. Especially now I've seen you.
Oh, gosh and golly, you've been unconscious for days. You had us all frantic. What the heck happened to you?
Essentially, our impetuous young colleague suffered a transient psychometric overload.
Of course. Perfectly obvious.
The technical term, Havoc, is a psychic shock syndrome, resulting from the strain of absorbing more raw data too quickly than his mind could assimilate. So, to protect itself, it shut down. As nearly as I can determine, there's no permanent damage. Thank you, Elizabeth. Have you an explanation, Longshot? You were supposed to be with us on the training exercise. I know, Storm. I'm sorry. But the treasure called to me. They want to go home. They're inanimate objects, pal. They can't talk. You may believe so, Havoc. But Longshot... Oh, sorry. Shit, dude. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. We wouldn't. There's no way. They're inanimate objects, pal. They can't talk.
You may believe so, Wolverine. You may believe so, Havoc. But Longshot knows differently.
One way to settle things for sure. Hang loose, y'all. Be right back while I punch some ghosts in the face.
Yeah, Rogue punching ghosts. Take 2, take 3, who knows?
Who knows?
Jason was saying we gotta do lots of takes sometimes. It helps to read it ahead of time. And I did confess at the start I did not read this issue. The idea of, I mean, what we can see happening here in this scene with Rogue, like his psychometry or whatever you want to call it, of just where all these missing treasures come from. It's just, it was tough for me to get into as a kid, but I want to see some good X-Men stuff. And I love the character parts. So I want to see how they're all adapting, and I want to see more of Havoc in his Outback gear. Mm-hmm. By the way, anyone know the name of that ranger dude? The park ranger that was friends with Mick Dundee? That movie was 1986. So it had a couple years to permeate and gestate in Claremont's head. I think we should move them to Australia. I wonder what it was that got him thinking that. Yeah. Was there like do you think, looking back, and maybe some other people in the chat will have a point of view on this, do you think there was an 80s North American fascination with Australia in 1980s?
Well, I mean, if you count the work of the band Men at Work.
Sure. So what else?
Coming from a land down under. Crocodile Dundee. And what else about Australia?
I mean, Mad Max had
Max
last year, and then Thunderdome especially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all love Crowded House.
They're from New Zealand, I believe.
Are they? I thought it was half and half, but that's not. Maybe they are New Zealand's. Yeah, I don't know, but they don't they reference in The Simpsons when they go to Australia? They're like, at one point, America was obsessed with Australia.
Right. So I'm wondering if there's more to that other than things like Yahoo Serious and Foster's Beer and the shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah.
There might have just been also like those not named things where it was just like Australian accents used in ads.
Yeah. Could be.
I don't imagine there is like one massive thing that makes all this completely clear, but a lot of little unmemorable things in the zeitgeist. But the fact that he would bring the X-Men to Australia, it's just, it is an idea. And it feels like I'm interested to know if even Claremont knows why he did it.
Right.
And
when we get him on the pod, we'll ask him.
Sure. And almost immediately,
I grabbed this piece at random. I figure Betts can silence us with long shots, so we'll see what he does when he reads its history. Fair enough?
A sound move, Rogue.
But won't he go into shock again?
That was from reading the entire treasure trove, Allison. But I'll monitor and shield him to ensure there's no danger. You hold his hand and rub his back.
In your bag towel. But also, but make sure to keep your towel up too, as you hold hands.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
It's okay, Allie. I'm not scared.
This is fantastic. As though I'm present watching these events actually happen. Made was I with all the skill of a master artisan's hand. Given was I with all the love in a proud father's heart. Passed down was I from mother to daughter, from then until now. And when you come of age... Oh, no.
And when you come of age, honey bunch, this'll be yours to wear and keep till you have a girl of your own.
But whoa, that was not to be.
This is nuts, even by our standards. Long shot, you can't be serious. Yahoo serious.
Nice.
You want us to return all that loot?
All we're able to. What's wrong with that? You suggesting we keep it?
I'm suggesting, boy, that maybe the X-Men got more important things to do.
I'm not a boy, mister.
Take a drink. Could have fooled me sometimes. Wolverine, what could be more important than returning what was stolen to its rightful owners?
I don't know, saving lives, saving the environment, all sorts of things. Basically everything. All these people have lived and adapted to not having these objects. They've gotten by. They're fine, dude. Move the fuck on.
But the Reavers caused this misery. We can end it.
We already have, youngster, by putting them out of business.
Art note. Wolverine's right eyebrow is cocked and rendered in brown or that dark red instead of in black. Usually, artists doing interior work do not draw Wolverine's brow. They just leave his mask black with very little effect around it. Arthur Adams started doing little kind of lines of brown highlight in his mask, and to this day, kind of everyone does, and it's awesome. Looks really good.
Yeah, how do you see an arched eyebrow from behind a mask?
Well, it you don't see, it's not his actual eyebrow. It is the edge of his brow that is closest to us, the viewer. So the light is catching that.
Okay.
And so it's communicating the part of his brow that is closest to us, that is protruding the most from his mask.
Gotcha.
That's what it is. If I explain it that way. What's the line? The evil that men do is oft lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. Is it sufficient to simply defeat the villains?
Works fine for me.
Why can't we try to put right the harm they've done?
Just as I make this soup, this delicious soup in the middle of
Chili. I believe it's chili. Good for the hot weather. Good hot chili.
Good hot chili for the good Australian outback.
The whole point of dying, I thought, was so we could hit and run without the bad guys looking for us. We lose that element of surprise. We lose everything.
But Tovarish, if we cast aside our basic human decency, our conscience, do we not lose so much more?
This may not be practical, Logan, but I agree with the others. It is necessary.
You're the boss. But assuming Longshot can pinpoint the origins of every piece in that flaming cavern, how are we going to get him home?
That's a good point. And you also don't know, by the way, how many different owners have had those objects stolen.
It
I
sounds positively Herculean, and I mean it in a literal sense, as in like a task of Hercules.
Well, it's funny you should mention Hercules because, of course, the cleaning of the stables.
Cleaning
right?
the Stygian stables. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and should we talk about the 13th labor of Hercules?
Please. What is it?
No, come on. This is like a joke I often bring up. I think I brought it up at band practice last week. There's an often forgotten 13th labor of Hercules.
Yeah.
Where he was, like celebrating some big thing with like a king and his 50 daughters. And Hercules famously impregnated all 50 daughters in one night.
Just by looking at him.
Well, yeah, that's the other joke is that he didn't act. I mean, that's now you can make tons of jokes about how that happened, but let's not go there. This is supposed to be family friendly. And with the following dawn, they begin. Longshot reads each piece, while Psylocke both sustains and shields him with her telepathy, simultaneously transferring the appropriate data via mind link to Madeline, who does her best to plot its location. It's a long, hard, wearing process. The entire team staggered by the amount of treasure the Reavers had amassed. But eventually...
6 pals, 1 for each continent.
Those suckers got around.
Plus that 7th for items which possess no resonance and cannot be returned.
Pretty flaming impressive.
I'd trade it all for that bike.
Like it, do you, darling?
Oh, Wolverine, if ever anything in the world is made for me, I hope its owner appreciates what we're giving back.
You know, people, all this work won't mean spit without Gateway's help.
Hey, if anybody else wants to try, they're welcome. Me, I've talked to him till I ran out of words, and I didn't think that was possible. He just looks and listens. Don't know if he understood. I ain't got a clue what he's feeling.
At which point,
Yeah! Gateway's bonfire. It's alive. Bless your heart, you darling, you. I knew you'd come through for us. But how is he going to know where to send us?
I shall tell him, Havoc, telepathically.
You know, we're putting our lives in his hands. How do we know we can trust him?
Because, Allison, what we're doing is right.
I got nothing rational to base this on, only my instincts and look in his eye. But I say go for it. Come on, Dazzler. Where's your sense of adventure? Better question would be, where the heck are my brains?
See, what's happened now, if you haven't caught on, is the X-Men have sacks of booty,
Yes.
and they're going to be delivering these things back to people all over the world at Christmas time. So the whole point of the Fall of the Mutants, and the Mutant Massacre and all these things was to change the X-Men, to transform the X-Men from superheroes into legends into Santa.
Wow.
I mean, I never saw that coming. Some very serious Walt Simonson vibes on that portal.
The portal at like cosmic. Yeah.
Yeah. In the blink of an eye, a flash of transcendent radiance, the Australian desert gives way to the City of Lights. Southern hemisphere to northern, east to west, dawn to midnight, summer to winter. As the X-Men's madcap task begins, they break and enter repeatedly, over and over, not using any magic means, but only being able to return things to people who have no home security and do not lock doors or windows. As quiet as elves, that's a little on the nose, Claremont. It's fine. Stealthy as angels, they make their appointed rounds. Corby, North. How do you pronounce that? Northants?
Northants?
Northants, England.
I tell you, I heard a noise. Someone's downstairs.
Silly little baby. I'll show you nobody's.
Is she a thief?
No. Look. She's leaving presents.
Shh. Folks are fast asleep. Don't want to wake them now, do we? Congratulations, youngsters. Guess what? You just got to meet one of Santa's special helpers. Bye now. Mommy, Daddy,
please come
Hungry.
quick. Come see.
it's a miracle.
Now,
You know who their parents are, by the way?
Jason
She
What's all this about? What's all this about?
Those gifts are wrapped like
Right. So where did the wrapping come from? Like they were already
The
pre-wrapped in the Reavers. Like the Reavers broke into this particular house to steal wrapped presents.
and yeah. Okay. So I can't even go into
Nope, can't even. No. Yeah, dude. What's all this then?
Salem Center, New York. As the town's combined school choirs pit their voices against a vicious snow squall. Among the singers, the surviving students of Professor Xavier's school, otherwise known as the New Mutants.
I wish I'd never come.
Yeah, stupid holiday.
It's supposed to be a time of celebration, but with Doug dead, what?
Did you see that eye?
Yeah, it's Warlock, right?
I guess, yeah.
I guess. Along with my brother Peter and the X-Men, I don't feel much in the mood.
Poor Ileana. I wish we could reveal the truth. But better the pain of this lie than that of mourning another slain teammate. I disagree. In the meanwhile, I can at least spit on them from above. I can at least moderate the elements to make this evening a little pleasanter.
Well, the wind's dying down.
And the sleet's changing to snow.
Well, what do you say, Rain? Tonight of all nights, want to try one more carol?
Carol Danvers.
Whoa, cannonball. Hey, just because I don't know, what happened to Doug?
He died.
I mean, he's obviously dead, but did he die recently? Or is he dead? Like, is he dead a while? Feels like they just kind of threw it in there.
Yeah, I wasn't reading New Mutants. I don't know.
Okay.
I have a hunch that someone in the chat
Someone in the
knows
chat
what
will
happened
know.
to Doug. Who killed Doug?
Why did Doug have to
heroic
die?
death? We do know that, from our time reading X-Men, that Betsy has a soft spot for him in some way, and his innocence and his crush on her. So I wonder if she even knows yet, or if it's a thread that will come back at all. And yeah, I mean, Doug did not have any combat powers, right? He was just we're talking about a character named Cypher, who was able to use all forms of communication and understand them.
That's right.
A really great power to have as, an investigator of some kind or explorer. Not easy for a group of combatants. But we shall continue. And hopefully we find something in the chat.
Hopefully.
She's reluctant at first. The words come haltingly, but slowly, gently, the beauty of the song mixes with that of the moment to create a special magic that touches all their hearts with joy and peace. Hong Kong. Billy Mao never met a mutant in his life, and he never even knew the X-Men existed till he watched them on TV. He saw them die. And afterward, nothing for him was quite the same. As far as he's concerned, they're heroes. And he means to do his best to ensure their legend never fades. Boston. So in the background, if you're not able to see, there is a sign that says, "Wanted, the X-Men by the Human Rights League for crimes against the race." And this kid, Billy Mao, speaks the word "live," as in like the X-Men live.
Yeah. Good job, Billy.
Boston at St. Andrew's Hospital.
What's this? Mother's necklace.
Aww.
One shot cries.
Yeah. He's having
another splash or another full page ad.
Yeah. So this is John
for the worst Avengers team you've ever seen.
Dude, I was reading this. Cap and Wasp have recently left the series.
Okay.
And Hercules was also in this.
Sure.
And Jen Walters was in the FF, and she's come over, left the FF as Ben Grimm has returned. And Marina, the woman who is in the lighter yellow green and the green scale bathing suit, member of Alpha Flight, is betrothed to Namor. So they are kind of like around the team, hanging out. And this is kind of where I learned to really like the character of Namor, because he's kind of a real dick. But there was something about, I liked Black Knight for some reason. Thor I was ambivalent about, but now I love. But I like Jen, I like Captain Marvel, and then there's Dr. Druid. And
Dr. Druid.
I need a Marvel Legends Dr. Druid. I have this team other than Marina, who they've never made a figure of, and I just need that.
Yeah,
Dr.
they didn't even make her as part of the Alpha Flight box they made.
No, they did not. She was never a permanent member anyway.
No.
But it would be cool to have her there. I was reading it, and I read up until issue 300, and in issue 300 they reboot the team again, and for some reason, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman join, along with Gilgamesh,
okay,
of the Eternals, who was more commonly known as the Forgotten One. But it was a team that I just could not follow. So I was winding down my Avengers reading at this time. Anyway,
We have some answers in the chat.
okay. So,
Richard says hi.
Richard, hey, how you doing? It was great seeing you at the Toy Con. Sneaking in here for a minute while at work. Hoping you guys are having an excellent stream. Thank you, sir. We are. It was really good to see you too, and I would love to talk some more soon.
Yes, good to see you, Richard.
Let's see. David says Gateway cares deeply about a bunch of rich settlers getting their motorcycles back. Oh, dude. David continues. Doug was killed by a crazy scientist during Fall of the Mutants, the same non-crossover where the X-Men died. Yeah, it didn't cross over at all. You're right. He was like a Dr. Moreau character. Okay. And Ali says apparently he took a bullet for Rain.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And yes, Jason Jose, Monica is in charge of this squad. She was the leader.
Right. Captain, right? Marvel, yeah. Or sorry, is she
Oh, she's Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Great Marvel Legends figure of this one, by the way. She's just really perfect for that.
Nice.
So yes, Doug Ramsey does come back. Ali says Doug is part of the Hickman's Krakoa storyline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, he's back. But it's all good. The following morning, back where it all began.
Is that Allie? It is. We did it! Every piece, the whole world in a single night. And I bet none of you realize what night that was. Merry Christmas! Oh, okay, no problem. That's a bet I don't mind losing. I felt pretty lousy at times, because when I joined the X-Men, it was because I really didn't have any choice. What we did just now, the joy we brought people, I'm glad I was a part of it, and proud to be an X-Man.
As we are to have you, Allison. Wolverine and I hope this small gift will help make the transition to our new home a little easier.
And maybe keeping you from going stir crazy.
The bike?
Road trip?
Climb on, cutie. You can learn by doing.
What does that mean?
I've only heard whispers, but...
Okay. Do you still believe this was a waste of time?
I stand corrected, boss. Happy days, Aurora, to the best of times.
To what we stand and fight for, my friend. To life. Her costume, Storms, that is, the cape parts disappear, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like unstable molecules, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do Gateway, okay? Just to keep
sure.
it balanced here.
Okay, good. Morning, Gateway. This is crazy. I know this isn't your holiday or anything. I must be a fool. Don't even know if you people have holidays coming up here. But I don't think it's right you being left out of our celebration when you did so much to make it possible. I brought you some cake and a present. Didn't much know what you liked, but this seems sort of right. None of us knows really where the X-Men are going or how it'll end up, but thanks to tonight, thanks to you, figure we're off to a finest kind start. That's my piece, all said and done, and I won't bother you no more. Oh.
So that's what he plays. If you actually take those notes,
Yeah.
this is where it was actually Joe Rubinstein who
Right.
inked this, and he's the one who wrote that theme song in these little musical notes. That says, if you read it carefully, it says do 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 do
Nice.
do 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 do.
You know how we're talking. We're like, oh, it's on the cover. We're like, isn't really appealing to us. I don't know if we're getting into this comic. And then you read next, dressed for dinner. That also is not appealing.
Oh man, rest for dinner.
Ooh.
So I did not read these X-Mails, but I did look at just at least where they're from, and not from Toronto, so I stopped paying attention. No, nothing stood out to me. But would you mind flipping the page one more?
Yeah, of course.
And look at this beautiful ad from the 80s. Oh, it's Contra.
Oh yeah.
Was this a mainstay?
So much oil on those guys.
Oh yeah,
so much oil.
Was this game a mainstay of your?
100% Contra.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You could do the up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start, and get 30 lives. And that would get you through the game because you died like fairly. There's a lot of death in that one.
Fair.
I love Contra.
Yeah, everyone I knew loved Contra too.
Yeah,
it was a very popular game.
Very popular game.
Yeah, very nice.
And is it meant to be like Schwarzenegger? I mean, not meant to be.
Oh, come on!
Riffing on it, right? And then like the aliens.
Stallone.
Yeah, totally right.
And all the like all the other versions of it. So whether it's Chuck Norris and Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren and all the Expendables, essentially.
Every single Expendable.
Even Jason Statham. So it's interesting to read this one, and there's some heartfelt stuff in it. I'm gonna just point out one little thing. I don't know if you noticed the page count. Do you notice the page count?
It was a lot. It's like 28 or something like that.
So they do number them as it's up to 30 pages. I don't know how much of it is actually story and how much of it's ads.
Oh yeah, a lot of ads in this one.
Yeah, but it does say like page 29 is the second last page. I wonder if it is actually more pages than normal. I'm not going to go back and count it now because we're doing a show and it's not that interesting to watch me count. But there you go, man. That was issue 230. Overall, I still like the art. It was a ridiculous premise, and you just kind of go. You got to go with it, I guess, to make that happen. But my general issues with where the series is at and where it's going all still stand. I'm not in a better place at the moment. So
you're not excited for Dress for Dinner?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember what issue it is. I gotta look.
Take a look right now.
Okay, here's my box of the first half of my Claremont run.
231.
Hold on. Oh boy, I know what's coming after that. Oh, cool. I did read this one quite a bit because Rick Leonardi looks like he's the one drawing this. I see Colossus. I see Sin.
Ileana. Okay.
I see the New Mutants. So I'm a fan of Rick Leonardi's stylings.
Yes.
And I remember, I think I redrew that body on Colossus. But that definitely stayed with me a long time, trying to understand abs and torso muscles. This was a formative one, but his body language stuff is so good. So I'm curious as to what the story is because I do not remember it. But I'll probably give it a read. Just for conversation, but why I'm not going to read it right now.
Yeah, sure.
Just to brag a little bit. You see there, those black volumes. One is missing because I loaned it to my favorite local cousin, Jeremy. I loaned him volume 1 so he can start reading, but I acquired volume 6 today, which is the last one I needed. So I now have the Hellboy library editions.
Yeah.
1 through 6 and then Hellboy in Hell. So it's really 1 through 7. So I have Mignola's run.
And you just got 6 today.
God.
Well, then why are you doing on this show? You should be reading that book all day today.
I don't have time. So, but I'll get there when I have time to read some comics. I will be reading. I can't wait to see. so it's after the Wild Hunt, after some
Yeah.
big plot points and development of the character. It's epic. It's really, really phenomenal. I just can't wait to dive into that. But I'll get there. But that's a big addition to the bookshelf today. Super happy about that.
That is impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to share, by the way, of course. I know you have volume 1 already, right?
I do.
So you need volume 2.
I do.
That's, as far as I understand, numbers, or maybe that's actually science. I don't know. You need volume 2. David says that one has best cover of the X-Men 200, 227. Sorry, that one has best cover of X-Men 200 to 27X. Pretty much. What does he mean?
Maybe means 270 something.
Oh, like, so of these modern issues are the ones we're reading now. It's the best covers. Me feel English? That's impossible. It is a great cover. The drawings are just really good. Drawing piles of bodies is not easy to do. So it's really beautiful to see. But yeah, this is Leonardi Interiors. Oh, dude.
Dressed for dinner.
So awesome Simonson and Kirby vibes in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice. So I'm looking forward to. But I remember some of these pictures now that I see them. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll read that later. What else? What do you want to talk about before we call it a night?
Talked about our upcoming shows.
Yeah.
We could talk about that. No, we don't need to talk about that. Game 2 goes tomorrow night. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we hit up the crowdfunder again. If you like what we do, or you want to support, please share. Feel like supporting financially, we always appreciate it. Every little bit goes to, just as Jason said, we are printing that book. It's not like it's not being printed. It just helps us get a bit ahead of the game that way. So
it's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right, that's cool.
I think we have. I got two more YouTube subscribers to shout out: Freddie James and Stacy Holman. Thanks for subscribing. We're at 398. 2 more. We have the old 400.
Can't wait for the old, whatever that means.
Whatever it means.
And that brings us. Well, we can't talk about Thunderbolts. We haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it,
but I do know what the asterisk is for.
I have heard, but I haven't. I've just stayed away from it. But.
Okay, fair enough. Is there other X-Men news to drop? Any movie X-Men stuff? No,
there is. No, I got nothing.
That's cool. We're good.
Cool.
So that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men. Thank you to my good buddy right there, Chris Sanigan, writer of Group of 7, Comics Most Secret Tale, and Peregrines, Flights, Fiends, and Fisticuffs. You can find out more about our comics and upcoming appearances at groupof7comics.ca. Of course, it's the number 7. You can follow us at Group of 7 Comics on social media. Please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your take on these comics with us in the comments below. Thank you. Stay Xy, and we'll see you next week, Bubs, when we read something about dinner and getting dressed and being in the Outback.
For dinner.
I don't know. None of this makes sense to me anymore. It's all a big blur. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out. Hope everyone's good. Have a wonderful time. Thanks, David. First time I was ever entertained by this issue. Good work, guys. It was heavy lifting. I am working up a schwitz over here. It's not easy to do. There we go. Keep tap dancing, Chris. Tappity tap. See you next week. Thank you, everybody.